Hey Hoopers, it's Deanne Love here, and in this video I am going to show you how to tape a hoop 3 different ways. We are going to get super sparkly. The first way is this twin stripe or a 2 tape stripe, and then the next one is this triple swirl, and you can choose the colors that you like. We'll go through all of that. And then the third one is just like this mega party girl with just like a whole range of awesome tapes on it. So yes, this video is probably going to get a little bit long, so here is how we're going to do it. I have created you a blog, and I will put the link down below or somewhere around here, and it will have all of the details, what you will need, where to get it from, where to buy all of this stuff, and then how to do it. And that's all in the blog. But if you do want to see the actual details and how to tape these 3 different styles, then keep watching right to the end until we get to this incredible, awesome, maybe my favorite hoop. Okay, let's briefly talk about tapes, but I want to let you know that in that blog that I have created for you, you will find a whole range of tape ideas and also where you can buy them from. So definitely check that out. But in this video, I'm going to be using GAFFA tape, which is the grip tape, which makes the hoop stick to you. I'm going to be using electrical tape. This is really easy to work with, so you might want to start with this first if you are a beginner taper. I'm also going to be using some of this glam tape. I have got a mermaid tape here, but there's so many different styles, unicorn, sparkly, glitter. We're going to be using that one today. And then I have a whole range of economy tape, which is a great way that you can tape your hoops on a budget but still make them extra sparkly. And I'm also going to be using duct tape. Duct tape comes in a huge range of patterns. I actually just saw some on Amazon for $3 for this whole massive roll, and it was Galaxy. So all the details in the blog if you want to go and check out or buy some, or if you need to get some new tape. Now, the other thing that you will need, scissors, of course, to cut the tape. And I also recommend having like a stereo or your iPhone or something, maybe your laptop, so you can watch videos while you're taping. Maybe you like to watch TV. You will need hoops. Now, whether or not you are making your own blank hoops or you're buying them from a store, that will be in the blog too. Otherwise, this video is literally going to be hours and hours long. But I will make you another video on how I made these blank hoops. But for today, it's all about the tape. Okay, let's get cracking with style number 1. This style is a 2-stripe candy cane, and you can choose any 2 tapes that you like. These ones that I made before, this one is an electrical tape and the DUCT tape. And this one is the economy sparkle, if you do like a little bit of glitter, and the grip tape or the GAFFA tape. So you get to choose whatever tapes you like. I would say that you want to choose some sturdy tapes, particularly if you're using your hoop outside, because if you're using like washi or any of the really thin tape, then it will come off when the hoop hits the road or whatever. So find yourself some strong tapes. Check that blog out. You'll find all the details there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive into how to neatly tape a 2-stripe candy cane. You do not want your first hoop to look like mine was. It was just like a wrinkly hot mess. Okay, so I have a blank hoop here. One thing that I would recommend is that you get yourself either some sturdy tape, not too bulky, maybe some electrical tape, and you tape over the connector, because hoops do move. When you're moving around, the plastic can move, and that can sometimes wreck your beautiful tape job. So just give it a little bit of a whirl. I'm not sure if you can see this. Maybe I should have done it in pink, but just over any of the connections there, and that will just make it nice and smooth for you to tape over. All right, so go ahead and choose your 2 colors. This is like the hardest part for me, color matching. So I usually spend quite a bit of time putting the tapes side by side and just checking the colors that I love or what I want to work with. Maybe we can go for something really simple. It's always a little bit tricky. You know what? I am going to go with a bit of sparkle, of course, and I'm going to go with some GAFFA or grip tape and just show you how it all moves. We'll use the electrical tape and the other tape in the other designs. So I always start with my sparkly tape or my metallic tape, because it is kind of like the baseline, and it is a little bit harder to work with. So when you're starting off your taping, it's all about the spacing. And your spacing, your angle might feel a little weird in the beginning, and you might have to redo it a few times, but that is totally fine. So the hardest part is finding the end of the tape. Once you've done that, you're good to go. So this tape, this economy sparkle tape, does not have any paper backing, so it's a little bit easier to work with. One thing that I would always say is that make sure you keep the roll fairly close to the edge or the end of the tape. Anytime you're starting to pull the roll away, it leaves all this space for this to get kind of tangled up. So you want to keep the roll fairly close to the edge of your tape. But I'm going to show you taping technique as we go. Okay, so let's start by checking the spacing. And I like to start at the top or the join on my hoop. And I'm going to start with my sparkly tape first. I'm just going to lay that down on an angle that feels like it might be right. It may or may not be right. And I like to use my right hand to hold the roll and then my left hand to smooth the tape on. So I smooth with my thumb, and then my right hand is doing, and you might do this opposite to me, totally fine. And some people do this standing up with their hoop this way. I just prefer to do it this way. You're going to find the right technique for you. So I gently pull the roll and then smooth with my pointer finger and my thumb. Pull the roll, gently smooth all the way around. Never forget to smooth. That is a big thing. And you might find like that you get calluses on your fingers, but you want to really make sure that you're pressing the tape so that there's no air bubbles, pressing it against the pipe. Okay, so I hope that you can see I have started to create this angle that appears like it might be right. You will get good at this after a while, so you won't have to do all this testing and checking. Now, the gap where I'm going to be filling in with this GAFFA tape looks like it's pretty perfect, pretty spot on, but I'm just gonna test for this one. So I've just done like 3 or 4 twirls with the silver tape, and now I'm gonna go in with the purple and just see if my spacing is right. And make sure that it fills that gap completely. Because what I want to do with my second layer is I basically want to seal the edges of my first layer. So the purple is going to seal the silver. Looking pretty good. If that feels right, you can go back and kind of take this off. Try not to waste it. You can press it back down. Remember, you won't have to do this spacing trial. After a while, you get really used to it. Okay, so if you're feeling good with your base tape, then it's time to tape all the way around. Now remember, you want to press and seal the tape to the hoop, and you want to try, don't worry if you don't get it right the first time, to keep this spacing the same all the way around. So you're going to be creating a tension with the pull of the tape to make sure that you're not pulling that angle too far out or that it's not closing in on itself. Fingers crossed that after you get all the way around that your tape will actually join up. So let's try it. Here we go. Getting there, almost halfway. Okay, once you are getting pretty close to the end and you are ready to match up, you are going to continue all the way and make sure that you don't cut the tape too early. So you want to overlap 2, 3, maybe 4 twirls around just to make sure that you seal that edge. And then you can cut your tape off and you're ready for your second color. So how did you go? Now, I have made thousands and thousands and thousands of hoops. This is not what my hoops look like in the beginning. So don't worry if you're not quite as fast or quite as spaced out as neatly as mine. You will totally get there. I highly recommend that you make like a few hoops for friends as presents, and then you'll get really, really good at this. Okay, so now it's time to go in with your second color, and I chose this purple GAFFA tape. The GAFFA tape is awesome because it does give grip, so it's great if you're a beginner or if you're making your hoops for friends who are beginners, because the grip tape just sticks to your body a little bit better. It likes to stick to cotton or skin or whatever. So I am going to go in, and essentially this second color is like coloring in all the bits that you missed. Now hopefully the bits that you missed are all the same spacing, but you know what, if they're not, it's totally fine. Your hoop is still beautiful. So edge of your GAFFA, find the spot that you want to start at, and again, same technique. So you're coloring in, or you're pulling the tape into those gaps. Now the GAFFA is a little more heavyweight, and so it does need a little bit more tension. And what I do, I'm pulling the tape with my right hand, or the roll with my right hand, and I'm also pushing it on with my right hand because this tape is a little bit more sturdy, it's a little bit stronger, so I kind of push it against the hoop with my thumb, and then as I bring it under and over, I push it down a little, just so that it really does stick and there's not any like air bubbles or anywhere where the tape can lift and dirt can get underneath it, especially if you're going to be hooping outside. All right, so it looks like this is pretty cool. The purple is sealing the silver, feeling pretty good about it. It's time to like chuck on some tunes or Netflix, or I like to watch YouTube videos. Whatever works for you, or you might just like to concentrate if this is one of your first hoops. Don't worry if you're watching every single line happen. Now sometimes what can happen is like the underneath starts to get a bit of a gap, like this top will look amazing and you're like, wow, I'm really good at this, I'm gonna start selling these at markets. But then you realize that you've kind of got a gap underneath. So you need to make sure, sometimes you'll kind of duck your head in and have a little look and just make sure that you're on track, so you're getting this kind of neat candy stripe effect. Right, let's go for it. Don't cause any blisters. Hard work. Okay, again, when you get towards the end, you don't want to cut off the tape too early because it will peel back. So I recommend that you go over maybe 3 or 4 rounds and then really press the end in to make sure that your tape does not lift back. And there you have a 2-stripe candy cane sparkly hoop. Okay, I can't wait to see yours. Definitely tag me, let me know how you go with your 2-stripe candy cane. And now we're ready for 3 colors. Okay, the hardest part is choosing the 3 colors that you want to go together. I chose the zebra print, silver and hot pink for this one, and then I did the mermaid, the bubblegum pink, and the purple for this one. I don't really love this purple. I think it's like a dusty purple. I want it to be much brighter. Oh well, it's okay. Choose 3 colors that you love. Now, for this next one that I'm going to show you, I am actually going to use the mermaid tape, this duct tape, and this GAFFA tape because they are different types of tape to work with. These colors might not necessarily match, but that doesn't really matter. So, okay, let's pop these down here. Grab our next naked hoop. Oh, all right. This does not have any of the electrical tape on the, what's it called? Join. So we are going to the connector. We're just going to tape over that. It's just really good, especially if you have rivets or these pop rivets or whatever it is. Maybe you've got staples, depends on what hoop you're actually using. It's just good to tape over those because sometimes they can wreck your tape, but not if you put a little bit of tape on it. So we start with the sparkly tape or the metallic tape first. It's going to be our base. And it's also, in my opinion, the most difficult to work with. So once you get this one sorted out, then you'll feel like the rest is a breeze. Again, it's just that coloring in. Now you will notice that each of these tapes are slightly different in width. So there is this duct tape that I have chopped in half, and it's really easy to rip. So you're going to be ripping that as you go. And then there is this GAFFA tape, and then there is the sparkly tape, and they're all a little bit different. But we're going to go sparkle first, then duck over, then this guy will go last. So they're each sealing each other in. All right, let's get started. Unlike the last sparkly tape, this tape actually has a paper backing. So what we're going to do is cut off a length, and we're going to work with that length first of all, because if we try to tape with this all on the roll, it gets all tangled up and crazy. And this tape is usually a lot more expensive than the other tape. So you really don't want to mess this up too much. So I just like to cut off a long strip, and you get used to how much you need after a while. Just snip that off. And then we're going to start with this guy. Isn't this tape just amazing? So going to the end of your tape, you're going to take that paper backing off. And again, I just like to leave a little bit, not too much tape so that it doesn't get tangled. Let's play around with the angles, remembering this time that the angle is going to be a little bit larger because we have two tapes that we need to fill in. So just starting at the top, finding an angle that will allow these two tapes to fit in. So let's just try this one here. You can see it's a greater angle this time, but if I do pop, my duck is going to seal over. And then I've got a small opening that I would then put my GAFFA on. So we're going for 3 colors this time, but no stress, you can totally do it. All right. Okay, so let's put down this base first, and you're just really going to be watching it all the way. You don't need to rush through, you can totally take your time. Remembering this paper backing, you're just going to peel it off little by little. So really smoothing this metallic tape down, pressing with the thumb, guiding with the finger, and just watching each round. Now, you might also like to use your right hand, or if you're going the other way, your left hand, to just keep some tension on the tape and make sure that it stays in angle. Because if there's no tension, it has a tendency to start to shorten the angle, and then you're going to have no space to put your other 2 tapes. So smoothing, pulling the tape over, pushing it with the thumb, smoothing it with the finger. And if this paper tape gets in the way, you can simply just rip it off, use it for something else, recycle it all the way. Now, if you find that you get to a point and you look back and the tape just seems like it's not going in that same angle all the time, then you might want to start to readjust a little bit, pull some tension, or if it really feels like it's just not working at all, then you have full permission to just snip it off and start to redo that angle. So no stress with that. You will get better, stronger at it each time. It gets easier and easier. All depends on the music that you're playing, how chilled out you are. Soon you'll be creating all these amazing designs. Getting rid of that paper if it's getting in your way. And if this extra kind of snaky bit is like coiling around too much, you can also just take your time and pull it off. Just relax a little into it. Swirl by swirl. Just be checking out how amazing this tape is. Look, we're almost halfway. If your hands start to hurt, obviously if this is something new for you, then give yourself some time to chill out. You don't have to do this all at once. Make sure if you are sitting down, and I always like to sit down, just for this I'm standing at a table so you can see this all properly, but I usually like to sit down cross-legged on the floor and have all of this in my lap, but I do need to take breaks because you can get really caught up in creating these amazing designs and forget that you need to stretch and move and not sit in the one place for too long. So you need some hoop taping yoga. Hey, that's a good idea. Okay, let's get on with this. So here we go. All right. I did not cut my tape long enough. It's okay. No stress. Actually, this is good to see what happens. So what I'm going to do is cut a little bit more, maybe about half, because I'm really like 2/3 of the way around. Cut that off. And again, what you want to do is overlap. So taking that backing off, you don't want to, I'm not sure if you can see this, but you don't want to just put it right next to this other tape. You really do want to overlap. So maybe go back one of the twirls or one of the spirals and just really match it up. Make sure that the edges are matching so you're in that correct angle. And that way, if for any reason the tape did peel back, it's not going to leave a big hole there. And then you're on your way with this gorgeous mermaid fish scale, amazingly iridescent tape. There is so much amazing hoop tape, like you wouldn't even realize it. And that's what that blog is for. I have written and linked and hooked you up with so many incredible tapes. You're just going to be spending just forever just drooling over the tapes. So maybe if you're like me. And it doesn't matter what country you live in the world, there are tapes everywhere. You can get them. I've hunted them down. I've sourced them for you. I've linked them up. So make sure you check out that blog. Oh my gosh, what if I cut it short? Too short again? Oh no. It's okay. No stress. I'm too busy talking to you and not concentrating on my taping. Maybe I have a scrap somewhere. I'll go check, see where it is. Yes, I had this tape left over from the last time I was taping a hoop. So I'm just going to fill that last little bit in and then we can get onto the second color. Remembering to overlap. It's really important. It's not wasting tape. And then as we get to the end, we get to see if we actually sync up. Now, if this happens and you're like, oh no, it doesn't quite overlap, here is the trick. What you're going to do is pull tension and continue to tape, and then eventually they will start to overlap. Oh, perfectly. That's the magic trick. And this is what you're going to do anyway. You're going to continue to twirl. So if you get to this point here and you're like, oh no, it doesn't even match up, just continue a few more twirls and it's just like this hoop taping magic. Don't even ask. Okay, all right, so now we're on to our second color. And I am going with this like party polka dots. Doesn't really go with the mermaid, but it doesn't matter. Blue, blue. So what I'm going to do is, from my angle where I'm looking at, I am going to, this is my left hand here, I'm going to start to match this duct tape to the left side of my mermaid tape. And then on the right side of this duct tape will be a gap. And that's where I'm going to fill in with my final color. So let's start that off. Now I have used this duct tape once before, and what I do is I cut it in half, because if you're going to be using this full width, it's too thick. You cannot manipulate it with your hands. So I cut or snip the tape in half, and then you can rip, and it very neatly rips. And so it's always easier the second time around because you've got this already ripped tape. All right, let's go in. We're going to seal on the edge. On the left side edge. Now, if your angle is not amazingly perfect and you find that your duct tape is kind of filling in most of the gap, that's okay because you can still go over and seal with your GAFFA at the end. So you're just going to try to match the edge a little bit over your mermaid or your first glitter tape, because really what you want to do is seal that first tape down. If you don't seal it, then when you take your hoop outside or even just in your room, it's going to get dust underneath it and you don't want to ruin your tape job. So this second one, you might need to pull some tension underneath and then really wrap it around. Some tension. Again, remember I said in the last one how sometimes you don't realize that the underneath is kind of getting all messed up, so make sure that you're checking both the top and the bottom and take it as slow as you need. No stress. This duct tape does have a little bit of give, so you can really kind of pull some tension. It's got more workability, I guess, than the glittery tape. So you're going to pull it all the way around. If you feel like it's kind of closing in on itself, then just peel it back a little and pull it into place. Each time, pull it into place. Wrapping around, smoothing with the thumb. So for example, right here, I'm not sure if you can see, but it feels like it's going to be starting to come in, and then the next time I do it, it's going to literally be going over the top because I didn't pull tension here. There's like you can see it's starting to get loose. So each time, every single round, you need to make sure that there's no big chunky bubbles. You have to pull with the hand that's on the roll and smooth with the hand that's on the hoop or the tape. Each time, bringing it around, repositioning if you need. Now you can see that I have to start ripping this tape, and all that you're going to do is just keep your tape or your roll on the same angle so that you're just ripping in a straight line. You can do it really slowly, gently, as you press your duct tape on, and then just rip a little, just so you can do one spiral. Rip and press on. Rip and press on. If there's any bubbles in your duct tape, you can just unpeel using the thumb to smooth and continue. Almost there. Okay. Few more twirls. And remember to always go over one or two more times. And there is our second color. All right, now the gap is quite small on this one. I probably should have done a little bit wider angle, but it's totally cool. You could leave it as this two stripe, but I'm definitely going to go in with my hot pink and just seal the edges. So I am going to the right side from where I am, the right side of my duct tape, the tape that I just did, and I'm just going to seal that in. Now, because the duct tape is a little bit fatter than my mermaid, I'm going to take this gaffer a little bit more onto the duct tape side so I don't cover up my mermaid, but I'm really just sealing those two together. Again, a short little pull of the roll and then pressing down using the thumb. So I push down at the back with my thumb, and then I pull just a little way with my right hand, and I push down, press with the thumb, pull out, around, pull down, press with the thumb, underneath, over, pull down, press with the thumb, underneath, over, press with the thumb, and just continuing that same pattern. Okay, she is pretty cute. That is a 3 stripe. We used a sparkle tape or a metallic tape. We used the duct tape, and then we used the grip, so it is nice and grippy, especially for beginners or on body hooping. Okay, next level. Let's go for it. We're going to use like a gazillion tapes on the next one. Don't get too scared. Not really a gazillion. Look how amazing these hoops are. So good, right? All right, the one that we have all been waiting for. Don't let her put you off. She is fabulous and she has so many colors on her, but it is quite simple once you know the pattern. It's all about patterning. So for this one, actually this one I used a metallic tape, a duct tape, and then 3 gaffers. And guess what? I'm gonna use a metallic tape, a duct tape, and 3 gaffers for the one that I'm going to show you. So let's just mix it all up. Put all of the hoops, tapes, everything in the mix. Okay, so we need our blank hoop, and we need to, what do we do first? We cover that connector just in case things wiggle around and jiggle around, and you just don't want to wreck the tape job just because your connector is kind of loose. And it reinforces the connector as well. Even if your connector is riveted, then sometimes it can kind of wiggle a bit loose. So it's good just to give it a little bit of safety. Okay, so what we're going to lay down first is our metallic, and I'm going to go with silver because it just like blings all of the rainbow. Even though this is a fairly cheap tape, it doesn't have any paper backing. It's really holographic and it sparkles. So I'm going to link these definitely for you in the blog. And then I'm going with this kind of a little bit fluoro, a little lime green duct tape, and I'll show you how to cut it as you go. And then we're going for, I can't decide if I want to put the purple in. Maybe, I love purple and green. We'll see how we go. But these two are actually UV reactive, and I've linked those in the blog as well because they do glow or react in blue light. Okay, so let's get started. Now, because we are using so many tapes, we need to really pump out that angle. So we're not going to go with that really tight 2-stripe candy cane angle. We might have to mess around with it a little bit. So let's go with the silver holographic first of all. Finding that edge, always the toughest bit. Help me out here. Imagine doing this hoop taping with kids. I just spend the whole hoop taping workshop just going around finding the edge, finding the edge, finding the edge. The edge. All right, so we have to make space for the duck. We have to make space, and yes, sometimes it's DUCT, and sometimes the brand is duck, like quack quack. So in the blog, check it out. You'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not making a mistake. And we have to make space for half of this, and then we have to make space for 2 of these, and then one's gonna be the crisscross, so no space for that. Hear me out, watch me out, see how I go. So a big angle this time. You're going to have the roll closer to the pipe. Rather than a shorter angle, you're going to have the roll kind of closer to you, a little bit more 90 degree, a little bit less, a little bit less. So you're really going for this angle so that the gap opens up. Now, because the angle is so wide and so open, you have more error for having your tape crumpling up because it's not quite as neat and smooth towards you. So you really have to watch it and really press it in that diagonal, especially on the under. So you will notice that it's quite a big angle here because what's going to happen is, and let's check this duck situation out, I'm going to cut it roughly in half, just like that. And then I'm going to press one of the sides against the roll. Then I'm going to lift the other and just kind of rip it away. And you can see that it rips really neatly as long as you stay in the same angle. I'm sure if you were kind of ripping over this way, then it might kind of mess up. So what's going to happen is we are going to put our duck or duct, duck in this case, in between the silver, and then pink is going to go here all the way around, and then maybe orange is going to go there all the way around, or whatever color you choose. But you've got two gaffers as well. So you're really wanting to make sure that this spacing is on. We can do it. We lay that holographic first. We get that foundation right, and then the rest is just a coloring in breeze. Okay, so let's take this one slow. Really watching that we stay on that angle. So to keep this really wide gap, I definitely recommend making sure that you're smoothing up from the base, pressing down. You don't want to have any bubbles or any kind of folds in your tape because even the slightest fold can make the tape start to angle a different way. No freaking out, just like chilling out a little bit with this first one. This might be your favorite angle. Some people really like to do these big wide angled tape jobs. So I'm eyeballing this a lot. I'm watching this a lot because I want to do the right thing. I want to make sure, you know, you can use whatever measuring instruments you have. If that's your fingers or if that's your tape or whatever works, just to kind of check. I do know some people get a measuring tape and they work out what their angle is and then they measure it out and they put a dot on every, like if that's like 4 centimeters and it's like every 4 centimeters they put a dot, and that helps them in the taping process. So they don't just have to like wing it and hope that it works, they know exactly. Now for me that does take a lot of extra time, and I just learned kind of the hard way of just really watching with this hand-eye kind of measurement, but whatever works for you. If you have any tips, if you've got a different taping technique or a different style, there's so many different ones, and there's so many actually different patterns as well. We're only going through 3 today, but if you've got different tips or different ideas, then definitely let us know down below in the comments. It can really help out some other people who are wanting to make hoops as presents or maybe sell them. I do know a lot of hoop makers. So how's it looking? You know what, the cool thing about this big wide open angle is it feels like you get all the way around the circle a little bit faster. So I'm kind of feeling like I'm doing okay, not too stressful at this point, just laying down the silver. Okay. Okay, there we have that first holographic, gorgeous silver, wide open angle taping. I totally love it. I almost want to just like leave it like this, but it is time to go in with our second fill in. And so we're going for this lime green or kind of fluoro. I haven't tested it under the black light, but we're going in with this guy and we're going to put it directly in the middle of the silver so that we have a gap either side of the green, because we're going to put those 2 colors of GAFFA. So we're going to place it directly in the middle so we have a gap Can you see? This side and this side. And that's where we're going to color in with the pink and the purple, or the orange and the purple, or whatever color we decide. Now for me, this one is a little bit more challenging because I just feel like it has a tendency to get a little bit wobbly. So I really have to watch it. So maybe we'll just, I don't know, hang out and chat for a bit while I get this done. It's kind of fun, huh? It's cool to make hoops with friends and just chat about stuff, passes the time, whatever's going on, because you want to make this hoop taping stress-free. Maybe call a friend, ring your grandma. Okay, so one thing that can happen is that the gap will start to kind of come over to like your left side. This is my left side here, and then you're going to have this big gaping hole on that side, and that's what you don't want. You want to keep the gaps kind of even so you can go in with these next two colors. So if that starts to happen, unwind and really make sure that you're watching as it comes underneath, and that the gap is 1-1 either side, these kind of train tracks. And then you push and smooth down, and then watch as you pull under that you have those train tracks. And if you don't, then just go back one spiral and just try it again. Remembering not to pull the roll too far away, because it tends to allow the tape to crumple too much. Okay, pumping those tunes right now. This is like the hardest one, don't worry. So watch it as it comes under, train tracks, yeah. You know, sometimes they're not going to be exactly the same, that's totally fine. But as long as you're not swaying to one side and then leaving this big gap on the other. Okay, let's do it. Done our second color. Give your hands a little bit of a stretch, and those wrists, some aerobics workout, finger yoga, definitely. Wow, okay, it is a workout. All right, we are ready to go in with the GAFFA. So what you might have, what you should have, what you could have is a hoop that looks like it has silver inside of green, or metallic inside of duck, or whatever it is that works for you. And you're going to have these other strips, these train tracks or parallel lines that you need to fill in. So you could do that with the same color, or you could do multicolors. So I am going to go for the orange, and then I'm going to go for the purple. And then I'm going to do a crisscross with the pink. So let's rock that orange first of all. I'm just going to pick one of the sides and stay on that side of the silver. So for me, looking down, it's the left side of the silver. So I'm always, as I come around, I'm going to be to the left of my silver. So all I really have to do is color that in all the way around. So I'll be right back. Okay. How are you feeling? How's it going? Is it like a little meditation? So as I look down at my hoop, I can see that on the inside there are a few little lifts or bubbles. I'm not freaking out about that. I'm just going to press them on right now, so that before I give it away as a gift, or before I go to play in the park with it, that all those bubbles are gone. Not going for perfection, just making sure that our hoop tape does not lift off. Okay, now it's time. You can see that there is now this one more gap left. So you could do the same color if you like, because that would be like extra grippy, or you can go for another color. So I'm going to go for purple this time. Now the angle on this is quite wide, so it really does create like a different sensation. You're pulling and making sure that you have tension on that tape to pull it into the space. Okay, we're ready to do the purple round. Let's see. Yay, okay, now you could leave your hoop just like this. So what it has is the metallic, the DUCT, and 2 different gaffers, and it is quite grippy, and anytime you add extra tape to your hoop, it is going to make the hoop a little bit weightier or a little bit heavier. And that is great for beginners, or if you want a hoop that has a little bit more weight behind it so that you can practice some of your on-body stuff. I'm going to put another layer on, just because I want to do a crisscross. I'm going to show you what a crisscross looks like. Okay, so from where I am standing, all of my tape is going to the diagonal, like towards the right side. And this time, I'm going to put the crisscross going over the other way. So all the while, all these other tapes have been going, I've been pulling like down, under, up, down, under, up. But for the crisscross, I'm going to go the other way. So I'm going to go over the top first. So what I want to do is just lay my tape down, and it's going to go over the top, and then I press up with my thumb. And over the top, and I press up with my thumb. And so I'm getting this crisscross effect. And I'm going to try to always, you can see the pink crosses over the orange, I'm going to try to stay in that same crisscross. May happen, may not. I hope it does. Just watching where the pink crosses over the orange. So over the top, underneath. And it might feel a little bit different, but really all of the same rules apply. Just make sure that you smooth your tape against the pipe, and that you just watch that your angle is kind of staying the same. Sticking with that crisscross. If it feels like it's shortening in, then pull some tension across. Getting there. Woo-hoo. And will it meet? Almost. Give it a little bit of tension, bring it back around, meet it up, and remember, if it doesn't quite meet up, continue to roll and smooth a few more times, just watching, and then snip it off. Lay it down, really press it in there, and you have yourself the most amazing crisscross. Super cool. I'm highly proud of myself, and you should be too if you have tried to do a crisscross hoop. Magical hoop that you can give to a friend or your neighbor or someone that you meet in the park, or you can totally just keep it for yourself and rock out with your new crisscross hoop. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I think this was one of the hardest tutorials that I have ever shot. I know this stuff can be really challenging, but it is worth it, because check out these amazing, incredible, sparkly hoops. They're so gorgeous, and this whole entire bundle is amazing if you want to take them to workshops or hoop jams, or share them with all of the people in your neighborhood. They're going to love you forever. So if you do have a chance, check out my blog. It has all of the details of all of the tape and the pipe and absolutely everything that I've used, plus a million other links, so that you can go and just drool over all of the amazing hoop tape. I cannot wait to see your sparkly bundle, or even if you just do one hoop, tag me, let me see them. I love all of the hoop designs, and big hoop love, big hoop taping, hoop making, hoop sharing, and giving hoop love from me to you. Mwah.